we are at the board. So this is the board. um, as you can see, we have some notes. This is going to be for Metaphysics 101 tomorrow. We're going to go into meditation. So think about that. Meditate on that. Why is meditation important? We got the little notes there, but I know it's too small. You can't read all that. I was thinking about light, though. This is what I really want to look at. What the heck does this look like? Doesn't this look like a little unit? I was thinking about light. I was thinking about how light emits, right? And how it kind of looks like, how it looks like this. It's fun to draw it out because you really get to see it. Because this is not for, this is not for, this is for the, this is for the economy right here, right? You know, this is for the world right here. So it's like, yeah, we had systems. When we were not close to the universe, we were not intimate with the universe and understanding it as a conscious being. Um, it took away from the experience that we're able to have with the world. This was me thinking about light and how, like I said, I want to talk about light beings. Okay, light beings. And basically, like, what are they? So I thought about a light organism. How would an organism, how would its veins, how would a light being's veins, come together? Oh my goodness, it looks just like our veins. It looks just like the cosmos. So how did I come to this description? We're at the board right now. If you go to Metaphysics, if you watch Metaphysics 101, we kind of touched, like I said, we're going in on meditation. We talked about the spirit. We talked about waves. So meditation is going to be the next subject that we get into. So right now, but this is just, we're talking about the board right now. So the board, we get to go into, deeper nitty gritty subjects. The good stuff. The good stuff, yes. So look at this. So here's how I came, basically, to this, to this outcome. Right? Where's my eraser? Just so we can erase it. If we erase it, that means I'll forget. I'll forget how I even did it, but I think that we know. So let's go and see what happens here. Let's see why I thought about it like this. So in that diagram, we were representing a light being, right? Now, things must exist in a space, right? We can get wavy here, you guys, okay? Things must exist in a space. So, this is a space. So, it's a space-time continuum encapsulated right here. All right, I think it's pretty lit though. Listen, because right now, like I said, we're talking about how this actually goes in with everything. I was trying to see teacher mode real quick, but here we go. Here we go. So this is space, and we're talking about light beings, and basically, here's what I was thinking. I looked this up. I basically thought to myself, how can light exist? Like, would light be able to only exist within itself? Like, if I flashed a bunch of lights, basically. Here we go. I flashed a bunch of lights. Here's the flash right here. Into this space right here, right? and it became filled with lights. Would it be 100% filled with lights? No. Look, we have these corners here. It's not going to be 100% filled with light. So this is where we get this image. So let's say that in the space, right? This is the mass of the light of the non-existent of the shadow, basically. This is the mass of the shadow existing within that space. Now, what happens is on the outer space of this is basically, I would say, all probably black, probably non-existent. I think I only got that representation. It doesn't have to be black. It could be any other color. It doesn't really matter. But I only got this representation of black because when we look out into space, we call it outer space. So outside of this space, we have that black outer space. And what happens is, if this were a 3D object right here, which it is, like here's a sphere, the light is encapsulated. It encapsulates the shadow. The light encapsulates the shadow. This kind of like reminds me of like a white blood cell or something like that, right? What's a shadow? A shadow's we're talking about things with no mass here. Shadow has no mass and light has no mass. So we're talking about things with no mass here. So what you're looking at is this kind of translucent thing with like zero mass in the core of it, right? So it emits light, of course. So we know that we're talking about light here. So if a being were to be made out of this light, how would that multiply? How would that work, right? I'm sorry, that's crazy. Okay, look. How would that work? So look. So here, I tried to kind of reverse engineer what we see in nature, as far as cell reproduction. Go through a zygote to all the good stuff. But we're talking about a being with non-mass. Ooh, and I showed you guys that little picture in my notebook. So I also want to talk about animals. So let's start in the animal realm, because if we talk about a complex being like a human, that's so complex, it's too hard to understand, because we have a very complex spirit. But if we go into more of an animal realm, what would a being made of light, how would that function? Interesting. And how do they divide? How do they divide too, right? So when we talk about light beings, we're talking about emotional beings. So, you guys get this picture? Screenshot. You guys got 10 seconds, because alright, you get the picture? The shadow? Basically all the mass of the corners of the shadows. This is the mass of that in the center of it. And this is the light emitting around. This is a light cell. Okay? It's a light cell. So yeah. You get the picture? Okay, good. Here, I'm erasing it. Okay. So you see this little one right here, talking about cells and cell division and all the good stuff. But let's look at what a light being, how does it function, right? So we're looking into really cool things here. I don't know what I want to talk about. Let's see. Hold on, y'all. Okay, let's start. Let's get in here. Oh my goodness. We're still going to come back to it. So let's see here. So light being is made out of several components, of course, and I like to use the rainbow system. I think all systems don't have to go away, because we still need to understand in the world some type of way. So there are some systems that we use that are really unkind. So let's get in there, and so this is a light being. Now we're talking about the components. Of course, light is made out of several colors. And the chakras are a beautiful example of what those colors are. So let's start. base chakra. Orange. Okay. This is like the seed. This is the stomach basically. The stomach chakra right there. Yellow. Oh my god. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all. We don't get this. We don't get the right troll. I don't want to get it wrong. I want to go off just my memories right here for you guys. Let's go off of the vibes. The vibes say we must get this correct and legal. Okay. Oh, how many yellows are we? So here's what we're gonna do for the yellow, okay? Here's what we're gonna do for the yellow. This is still orange. Here's what we're gonna do for the yellow. I'm gonna kind of mix it. That's not really nice. Oh shit. Okay, cool. Okay. Sorry, that has to be yellow. I don't have a yellow marker. Okay. Red, orange, green. So, basically this is the components of a light being. Light beings experience and sense the world through their chakras. And this would be the cell of a being completely made of light. So we're not talking about matter beings, which are similar, but a more dense structure of a light being. So we're talking about light beings completely made of light. So they would all have sort of a working system like this that probably spins in. Have you ever seen a rainbow? It's made out of little, basically it's made out of little rainbows. It's made of little rainbows. But it comes together to create a collage. So if you saw like a light horse. Ooh. If you saw like a light horse, y'all. Okay, I'm sorry. It was always good. Okay. Okay, yeah. If you saw like a light horse, basically what it would be is actually just a kind of like a rainbow reflection of these, kind of in a mass of how that creature would work. So if the color of this creature were purple, it would probably have a larger ratio of the purple chakra inside of it, for lack of better terms. Okay. So I think that's interesting. Light beings. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about how that would be good? Look at this. Go ahead. And this is the multiplication of the light being. Like I said, so how would a light being reproduce? Would it be the will of a light being to reproduce? No. I think not. I think not. I think not. I think it would be also the will, but it would still be just like this, but in a light being way, basically. Because they're still the same systems. I guess we're talking about the cell, which the cell would be a little bit non-personified, but when you do personify it and you do get rid of character, then yes, the nuances of relatability do exist there. So yes, light beings and how you can kind of see how they kind of are put together. Pretty neato burrito, in my sense. Even light structures, what light structures they made out of, because like we said, we talked about this little mass right here, but basically being just a kind of wispy, invisible center. And we said, the more dense a being, probably the more complex a light being. Interesting. The more dense, the more complex. I like that. And, that's an interesting concept. And look at that. And how they kind of reproduce. So I have this word that says basically separation, union, and oneness, basically. So there's a separation form, so that basically you can see the just the singleness of it, the union when they come together, basically transmuting um, light information, and then oneness if they come together. But this is a reversible thing. Of course, all processes are. It's not like a time-based process, but it can happen basically. So yeah, you guys. Thank you for stopping by. We're at the board. Yeah, we have fun over here. I love the board. This is like one of my favorite spots to be at. So, definitely. I'm going to talk to you guys. You guys have been so. You guys better be in class tomorrow for Metaphysics 101 because you guys have been so wonderful. No, seriously. Oh my goodness. We're going into meditation. We talked about the ways. We're going into meditation. You guys are going to see. Okay, I love you guys so much. We're going to talk, okay, guys? Awesome. Awesome sauce.